So this today is a mix of formal and informal kind of talk. And what motivates this is that I heard ASUU is on strike again. So believe it or not, this has been going around for quite a number of years, back even to when we were at university. So, so it's just nowadays things are a bit different to they were in my day. Because in my day, when ASUU goes on strike, everything comes to a standstill. Basically, you go back to your parents' house, and then you are just counting days and praying. But now it doesn't have to be like that. So life doesn't have to go on pause. Anytime something happens in the nation, or lecturers decide to go on strike, or students riot, or things like that. Excuse me. So I'll just make a sound. I'll tell you a bit about myself, and I'll also, so this as a structure today, it's going to be I want to cover the question, what can you do if your university is on strike? What are some of the things I feel you can do, particularly if you're into tech? How can you do those things? Why? What's the motivation? What would that give you? So it's one thing to say, okay, university is on strike. I want to read a book. And what would that book give you? Yeah, the book will keep you occupied. In terms of career, which is your ultimate, and education, what are some of the things that you could do, particularly if you have access to the internet? So this module we're going through now is the Microsoft module for Power BI Data Analyst. It's a big training. I don't aim to cover everything a day because it will not be of benefit to you. If you just rush through a certification, you have a piece of paper, or you have a certificate of attendance, it will not do you any good. But I'll tell you what will do you good. My aim is to give you an introduction, and you can carry on your own because these resources are available online. So the whole of the learning path to become a data analyst is available free on Microsoft Learn. These slides I'm showing are the trainer slides, which I have as a Microsoft certified trainer. But the whole notes, copious pages and pages of notes on Microsoft Learn. So that as well, if you remind me later, I can give you a link to where you can find those online. So as an introduction, my name is Yemi Akinwande. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, as I said. I'm a Microsoft certified data analyst. Previously, I've worked as an engineer, as a lecturer in Nigeria, as a lecturer here for many, many years. My other roles is that I've been a business intelligence analyst, a business data analyst, and currently I'm a business analyst. So I will explain some of this later on. The job roles might change, but along the data roles, different companies will call different things, the same job, different things, depending on where the focus is going to be. So you could be a business analyst, and actually what you're doing is the work of a data analyst. So there's a little degree of difference, or little or no difference. Some companies will call it business data analyst, some companies will call it data business analyst. Some will call it business intelligence analyst, some companies will call it insight analyst, performance insight analyst, and so on and so forth. But the key thing about these three job titles you see here is that there's a business element to it. So when you get on the data analysis path, you are expected to have an understanding of business, which is what we are going to see today. So it doesn't mean that you have to go and get a business degree. It just means you have to understand why businesses run, the philosophy of business. Why do they exist? Why do they employ data analysts? Why? And it's to make profits, it's to get more customers, it's to solve problems, to find out where all the operational costs are going, and to reduce customer churn, which means that the rate at which customers are leaving the company. So there's no business analyst, there's no data analyst that's employed just to crunch numbers and produce charts. You always have to think about the end reason. Why? What is this going to be used for? How is it going to benefit the business? And that will help, because a lot of the time when people come newly into the data analysis path, they get excited by charts, all the colors, all the axes, fancy dashboards. But you have to learn how to think like a business. It's very, very important, because businesses will employ you based on your ability to give value to what they are doing. So in terms of student introductions, we have large group with Kelechi, we have Adekule, we have Chisom, we have Moses. So a bit of let me just check. Did we fill out the course registration? So if we did, we might not have to go around the room. But if this was a physical training, so if I pull you into the same venue, of course, we'll do icebreakers to find out where you are coming from, what's your current role, and what you want to achieve out of the course. So that's it. I'm going to assume that we filled out the evaluation of form. If we want to put in quick things into the chat, and then Kelechi can pick them up, just say, hi, this is who I am. I'm currently doing this. This is what I expect from this course. So later on, we'll take a pause, and then we can kind of group everything together. Kelechi also has access to the backend data of the registration, so he might be able to give us some overall figures in terms of percentages of the audience. Excuse me. So now I'll skip this. This is for physical venue as well. It's talking about housekeeping, where the restrooms are, and so on and so forth. What should we do? In terms of housekeeping here, please, as we can see, we're on mute. I don't like muting people because I want it to be interactive. It's not a lecture. I want to find out. I want you to ask questions. I want to find out. I want you to get. This part is not for everybody, but the other parts that I will also talk about, and you might be able to fit into one of those. So it's always good to ask questions so that it's applicable to you. At the same time, in terms of housekeeping, we need to keep on kind of target, so that if you have something specific that is personal to you, so that it doesn't take us into a rabbit hole and we just keep on going off track. So I think maybe we can, the way we are, if we can keep questions, put them in the chat, Kelechi will pick them up, and then we'll take pauses in the question. When he has a number of questions, he will tell me, we'll take a pause and we'll answer this, so that we don't keep interrupted, keep on getting interrupted because of questions. So that's the housekeeping here. Okay. So in terms of, before I talk about the data analysis role, now, yeah, what's the difference now and back in the day? I'm talking about decades ago, that really puts you at an advantage. And I'll tell you what it is, it's the internet. Because in my day, believe it or not, we did not have internet. We did not have mobile phones that were smartphones. I don't even think we had mobile phones. And then, so, but now you have the whole of the internet in the palm of your hand with a smartphone. Some of you got laptops. And you'll be amazed the amount of training that there is on YouTube in terms of how to do this. If you type in how to become a software engineer on YouTube, how to become a web designer, web development engineer, how to become a data analyst, and there are people that are giving their time to teach you free. You'll be amazed. I'm not talking about 10 minutes taster. They're hour-long presentations. They're 2-hour-long presentations. They're multi-hour-long presentations. There are courses, there are university-type courses that people are putting out there. So if you're saying my university is on strike, there are people that are putting on courses from universities in America. It's there on Google. Some of these things are free. Right there on YouTube and right there on Google. And you need to understand that now we also live in a time when companies are hiring remotely. So you have people that are working in Nigeria who are working for companies outside Nigeria. And it doesn't depend on whether you have a computer science degree or you don't have a computer science degree. A lot of these things depend on your portfolio, your products. If a company is going to hire you to analyze data for them, it's not the degree. Nigeria, we love paper, we love degrees, we love certifications. But I tell you, companies in the West, they love experience. They love show me what you can do. In fact, some companies will hire you without paper. It's when they are doing their HR processes, they'll say, bring your passport, bring your certification, and they'll just photocopy those things, they just dump it somewhere. It's what you can do, because remember, companies are about making money, getting more customers, keeping existing customers, and so on. So I see amazing things that some young people are doing in Nigeria, people that are not even from a computer science background, just because they develop interest. And they're there on LinkedIn, and they're there interacting with other bright people from Pakistan, from US, putting out samples of their work. Oh, this is a visualization, and this is data analyzed from this data set. These are the insights that go out of it. They're joining competitions. Believe it or not, there are competitions on LinkedIn. For this is data analysis competition, run free, people submit. They might not get the first prize, but what happens is that it goes on their profile. Other people will see their work, they will befriend them there. So their network is increasing. You have people in Nigeria who have network that covers all over the world, and they haven't even left university. Some of them haven't. Some of them have just graduated. But without vision, like the Bible says, the people perish. Some people, they still have, they'll say, well, I don't have this, but that data you have, then you now go on TikTok, imagine, and you are doing TikToking on TikTok. You go on Facebook, you take pride, instead of taking pride in having professional network from all over the world, some people are taking pride in having, friends from all over the world on Facebook, saying, oh, can you see this beautiful girl? She's my friend on Facebook. This person, rich guy in Germany, is my friend on Facebook. What does that do for you? So we need to kind of smarten ourselves up. It will be great. Wouldn't it be great if be smart with what you have. Sometimes people complain, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, I don't have. But yet, we see you on Facebook, we see you on TikTok, we see you on Twitter, we see you on all the place. What are you using data? That's the same data. Wouldn't it be great within this period of ASUU strike that some other people come back to campus frustrated and fed up of life, and feel that they're not in control. 5-year course is becoming a 7-year course, and you come back with knowledge, you come back with a new skill that you learned from a lecturer that taught you free on YouTube. So that is what I'm saying. That is the kind of motivation I'm trying to give. So remember, if you're into tech, not just data analysis, software engineering, learn Python, you can begin to develop apps, you can begin to learn web design, you can begin to do amazing things with digital marketing, with Google Ads, Google My Business, and so many other things. And these are things that give you control in that you don't need a big corporation in Nigeria to employ you, because, where you say, oh, I don't have long leg, I don't have any uncle there, I don't have any daddy, those places. The world has shifted now. You have places like Upwork. For instance, Upwork is freelancing platform. Fiverr freelancing platform, where if you say, well, I'm a digital artist, I can do art, and just like that, or digitally, you advertise yourself there, so people give you artwork to do from abroad, pay you in dollars. So you see, it gives you back control, because there's so many factors in Nigeria that are outside your control. I tell you, I schooled in Nigeria, I worked in Nigeria. It's very frustrating when the system could be quite frustrating, because there's so many things outside your control. And in terms of graduating, in terms of even when you graduate, getting a good job, and somebody that is not qualified as you gets the job because they have connection, all these things are things that if you have all these skills, they kind of give you that part that even within Nigeria, you could work from business to business. I have somebody at the moment that decides to take his, his destiny in his hand, learn in Google how to put businesses on Google Map. It's going from one business to another to say, look, the world has gone digital. This is Nigeria now, in Lagos. The world has gone digital. If you have a school, I can put your school on Google Map because people will look on Google Map if they want to find you. And once you have a successful customer, you keep on going from one place to another and getting it. It's the same thing with web design. You design a website for a small client, a shop, or a school. Once you have them, you have thousands of orders. You just keep on going from one to another. So there's a lot of ways that you can take your destiny in your hand and have an entrepreneur mindset even within a pandemic. So remind me later on, I'll call on Kelechi. Kelechi is a prime example of somebody who is doing amazing things with tech, is there in Nigeria, employed by organizations abroad and doing things, on Upwork and other places. Okay, so that's the rationale. Why do this? Why get involved in these things? That's a bit of rationale behind it. Now, the second thing is talking about this particular qualification, which is it used to be called the DA100, but it's now called the PL300 certification. It's Microsoft Certified Data Analysis in Power BI. Now, I will keep on repeating, the certification is great only if you have the skills. If you don't have the skills, and you cannot demonstrate products, you cannot show, this is a report I did, this is some analysis I did, this is my use of charts, this is by how I'm able to squeeze insights out of data, then the certification will go for. I see a lot of people going in for these certifications from Nigeria. I really respect it because it's being innovative. It's a Microsoft certification, by the way. Not a university that nobody knows the name of. This is known all over the world. But people need to go a step further. So they don't just have the paper, because there's a lot of people that have that paper. And the more people that have a certification, the more they spoil it. Because then you'll see some people that don't even know anything. They just cram for the exam and then they did it. By the way, this exam is multiple choice, so it's not even hard to do. And that's why some people go to a boot camp, crash course, do get it, but at the end of the day, they can't do anything that they can demonstrate. So that's what I'm saying. Now we're going to talk about the data analyst role. Now the color coding is mine. The slide is from Microsoft. I've color coded it to make it a bit easy. Now the yellow is the ultimate outcome. The data analyst, your ultimate outcome, why people are going to pay you a salary, is that you deliver actionable insights. You deliver insights that they can take action on. You are not just giving them theory and say, oh, this mountain is like so and so miles tall. You are giving them something that the business can act on in order to block the pipe that is leaking, to know who are the customers, where they should go, where are the customers, how many customers are living, why are they living, and so on and so forth. So data analyst tries to answer the question, why? You see, there are various levels of data analysis, I will tell you. Some people will just stop at the what, and they're just giving information. This happened, this happened, this happened. But companies want to know why. If they have to employ somebody on top of you or after you to explain the why, then you're going to remain in the junior role. Because you are the person that is able to interpret that and get the why and drill down to get that oil inside that, that crude oil inside the something is going to get paid more than you. Because they don't want to do any hard work. They don't want you to just give them a chance, and then they have to figure it out themselves. They want you to become an advisor to the business. Don't forget that. They want you to become an advisor to the business. So no matter what role you come into, you could be like that Joseph that becomes advisor of Pharaoh. Now, how do you do that? Then you begin to drill down into the green, the business have colored in green. You deliver actionable insights by leveraging available data and applying domain expertise. What does that mean? available data. You get the data that is there. And then you need to also have domain expertise. So if you come in and you don't know anything, say for example, it's a business that sells sugar, that makes sugar and sells sugar. You don't know anything about it, but with time, you begin to interact with the experts there. Make them your friends, so that you begin to get some domain expertise in whatever area you are dealing with. So, because how can you interpret data and use that data to advise the business if you don't understand the business? So you need to be somebody that has a business kind of mindset where you go into business, business are set up to make money. Where does the income source of this business come from? You want to know that one. They have to, typically they sell products and services to customers. Where is it, do the customers come from? How do they get those customers? What type of customers? What are the problems of this business? What are they crying about before I got here? And how can I help them? So you need some domain expertise. And you also do that by identifying business requirements. Now, the blue is a step. So how do you do this? Leveraging available data, applying domain expertise, identify business requirements. You do that by collaborating with key stakeholders. I've mentioned something like that. You have to be a team player. You have to be somebody that you making relationships with people doesn't mean that you go out and drink with them, you go to a weekend party with them. It just means that, you when you get somewhere, you want to know who are the people in different roles. Take for instance, who is going to be the end user of your reports? Who is that person's client as well? So who is the manager of your manager's manager? You want to understand what is this report going to be used for? That will determine how I'm going to prepare it. If it's going to my chief executive officer, it has to be very high level. If it's going to the operational managers, they will need to drill down to know some specifics about their own section. So you need to be a good collaborator, and it's a skill that you learn with that. Now, this is the best time to learn it as students at university, learning how to collaborate, learning how to ask key questions, learning how to be the small person that approaches the big person, but the big person eventually respects you, because when you're approaching a stakeholder, a key secret I can tell you that I've learned from experience is that when you're able to give something, it's give and take. If you book a meeting with a busy stakeholder and you'll say, I'm going to take 1 hour of your time, they won't have time. But if you're able to give something in return to say, look, I've done this analysis, you give them some value and you say, please, can I have some of your time? They'll be willing for it. But if you are the person that's just taking and not giving, then they'll just see you like a parasite on their time. So collaboration skills, you need to learn soft skills, please, as university graduate. And the soft skills you learn are soft skills that apply in Nigeria, but also that apply outside Nigeria. So learn good soft skills that will help you in collaboration. Then you are responsible for designing and building. So this is what you do in order to do this, Design data models, reports, dashboard. We'll cover some of this today. I have proficiency in this. So these are like what you do to be able to do this, to be able to do that, if that makes sense. And then you're able to do that. This is right at the bottom. So a lot of the data that comes to you needs to be cleaned. It's called, whenever you have human beings entering data into a system, it's going to be dirty. So you have to clean it. You have to put in the shape that you need. This is the boring bit. This is what people want to do, but this is the bit that makes you an expert, because the ability to take, data and then transform it into a type of structure that you can now plug into your analysis machine and get some insights on. So please use the chat, please, if you have any questions as we go on, so you don't forget. Put them there, we'll collate them later and do them. So I hope that this makes sense. Now, it's not as complicated as it looks here. So some of these big words, what is Power Query and what is it? It's not as complicated as this. This is particular to Power BI, by the way, this one. But if you start with this, then that is very important. This, you need to develop this mindset, and then whatever you keep on going down, down, down till you're able to do what you need to do to get to here. Okay, so so in this course, this Microsoft certified excuse me, data analyst in Power BI. Now it says successful data analysts start this role with experience with data visualization products and services such as Power BI. Now let me tell you, as a practicing analyst, it's not about this course. So don't think before I can do this course, I need this. No. See, successful data analysts start this role. By the time you are starting the role, you will need some experience. Now that experience doesn't mean you might say, well, how do I get experience before I start the role? Don't I need the role to give me experience? No. That experience is you be able to demonstrate that I can do this. And remember, try your hands on it. Put it on, to develop a portfolio that you can show people. That's the experience that they want, to see that you didn't just learn it yesterday and attend the course with Yemi Akinwande and start the exam tomorrow, and then you are looking for a job. That's what they mean by experience. That you can say, look, I'll be practicing this thing for the last couple of months. I can use this is where I started from. This is my first visualization. This is where I am today. And based on this, you'll be able to project that if we give you the job, even though you are not perfect, but looking at your learning curve, we can see that you are able to grab whatever we are doing within the company. That's the important thing on this. All the other things are things that, to be honest, you don't even need these things to start with. But when you are doing this certification, you will learn about Azure data services, and on-premise and off cloud-based means that is the data sat inside your premises on a server, or is the data sat in the cloud? That's just what it means. And Azure is that system, it's what the Microsoft system of cloud data services. All right, so we'll move on. I'll take a pause shortly. Now, I've color-coded this as well. So these are some of the objectives. I've color-coded the bits I feel are basic in yellow and more advanced in green. There's a lot here. Don't be overwhelmed by this. It's not as complicated as it sounds here. But let me summarize all this. A data analyst needs to be able to get the data from wherever it is, and sometimes it's from multiple sources, clean up the data. Transformation means you put it in the shape that it needs to be in order to plug into the software you're going to use to analyze it. Data modeling means that you structure the data so that data is in tables, and those tables, you create relationship between those tables. So you might have a customer table, you might have a orders table, you might have a shipping information table, and so on and so forth. It's putting the data together neatly in such a way, because that will affect the performance of it. The data modeling will affect the performance, but it's something that is easy to learn. So then DAX is Power BI, which we're focused on, is the software. It's an analysis software. So see as a big brother of Excel. So if you know Microsoft Excel, it's like the fancy version of Excel, the big brother that went to Cambridge University. So that is Power BI. So Power BI is one of the software that companies use. Any company that uses Microsoft suite of products, Power BI isn't kind of attached to that. So they go for for Power BI. Some will go for things like Tableau. Some will go for Google systems, Google Data Studio, Looker, QuickView, and some other things. So you might say, well, so what do I do then? Learn expertise in one, And then when you get to a company that doesn't use yours, it's very easy to learn the other one because you are a data analyst. You are not like a graduate of Power BI. That's the only thing you can do. You're able to transfer it to different mediums. So it's like an artist that can use paint or can use clay or can use wood as different mediums. So Power BI has its own engine. It has DAX. It's a language that is attached to it. It also has Power Query M. Now, like I said, courses like the way I'm doing this is a bit different because sometimes when you have classes like this, people that come are they're already aware, they're already involved in that career path, and it's difficult. But the way we're doing it now is like call a lot of people together, and then out of you say this is actually something I can do, and some people will say no, but he mentioned web design, that one that needs to be explored. So people that are tech-minded, a good thing to learn is coding. And there are people that never did coding at university, that after they left university, they just decided to go and learn coding. Different languages exist out there, but the language attached to Power BI is DAX, and then you have the M language, the mashup language. So if you're into coding, learn Python for software development, learn Java, learn HTML, CSS. These are things, because you are young and your brain is sharp, it's easy to pick up these things. And then those are going to be your building. It's like learning a new language. When you learn a new language, then you put that language together in new ways. That's a new software product that you have. In this case, this is a new kind of analysis visualization that you put together. So that's it in a nutshell. We're going to talk about reports and dashboards later on. Okay, and this is the course structure, which we're not going to go through. We're not going to go through this. What I will do is that I'll endeavor to get you started on this one, give you the link in the learning path. Kelechi can even do that for me, please. Find the Microsoft path for data analysis in Power BI, please put in the chat. And then you can run through all this on your own. And then you sit for the certification exam. And you have that certification. But remember, now let me say this. Anything that has to do with something like this, or anything you're going to learn on YouTube related to tech, excuse me, requires a lot of practice. Don't just watch videos or watch people doing it, watch demonstrations. Pause it, watch that video, then pause it, and then get onto your own system and try and do what that person is doing. That's how you learn these things. Nobody gives you an award for being the most experienced watcher on YouTube. No. That's how I learn, that's how everyone learns. So whether it's coding, whether it's data analysis, whether it's anything, watch it, see the person do it and try and do it yourself. And you're not going to be able to do it yourself, then go and watch that part of the video, do it yourself. That's how you learn the skill. So these are different models that people that contributes to the course. Now, in terms of the exam, the certification is PL 300. Split into 4, prepare the data, model the data, visualize the data, and deployment. And prepare the data means get it to the shape that it needs to be. The number of questions, this percentage of questions will be from that area. Model the data, like I've said, data modeling, put the tables in the right structure so that you have the right performance. Visualize the data means that create your chart, make it visual. So take it from tables, rows and rows of columns of data, put it into the necessary visual, pie chart, bar chart, line graph, whatever it needs to be, in order to tell the story, analyze what the story is saying. We're good to go. All right, I think this is a good break point. Let me see this. Okay. So this is the link. Let me bring it up here. So this link takes you to here, Microsoft option. Now, they're putting all this out free. They're putting all this out free. Okay, so Kelechi has put something there. Let me just pop this in, whether it's the same thing. Okay, and that's it. So that, I believe, brings us to the end of the session.
An upcoming data analyst, what tools should I be working with to model and modify data? And you made mention of Microsoft Excel. So, and can you talk about some of the other tools that someone who is trying to become a data analyst should use?
Okay. To become a data analyst, you have to start somewhere. Start with Excel. There are people that get paid good money on Excel. Because remember, at the end of the day, it's not about the tool. The people are not coming to pay to use the tool. They're paying for the outcome. So if you have a data analyst that can do far, far more in Excel than another person can do in Power BI or Tableau, where Excel is almost free. It comes with your computer sometimes. Whereas Power BI, you pay license, Tableau, very expensive. So I would say a starting point for any university, no matter what you are studying, even when you are studying politics, know your Excel. What are you going to use for your analysis? What are you going to use for, know your Excel. That's it. No matter where you are. Because even if you don't end up working as a data analyst, in that company, there will be data. And the data analyst will bring something to you. Even if you, take for example, if you do politics, you become a politician, they bring a chart to you, you don't understand it. And then somebody is interpreting chart, Baba, this line going up means this one. No, the world has progressed beyond that. So all students, that Excel on your computer, it's even on your phone. You know how to do something with it. So it's what you know how to do with what you have. So Excel, if you are basic, build yourself up to intermediate. If you are intermediate, build yourself up to advanced. That's what you need. Alongside, Power BI, like I said, is like the big cousin of Excel. So I will show you Power BI. You'll see that there's some similarities between. So anyone that is good at Excel, because it's the same company, you have some familiarity with this. And then, and by the way, Power BI is also free. So imagine, so what excuse do we have? Power BI is free. Power BI desktop is free, download it free. Tableau, you go into Tableau something, I think it's free. Tableau Gallery is free. Tableau Public is free. But with Tableau Public, you cannot save, you will save to the gallery, you save to the cloud, which is good because you target, people will see it's like a marketplace. People will say, oh, this is something. So how do you start off on these things? Look for a data set that is interesting. COVID is a hot case around the world. Global COVID data set. Boko Haram violence in Nigeria. Look for something that resonates socially. Number of casualties in Russia-Ukraine war. So that when you do these things, when you publish it, people are already searching for those things. And the data is there. They're looking for someone to visualize that data and draw insights out of it. You know, and so many other things. World Health Organization data. Decline of malaria in various nations. National debt. All these things are open source data sets. If you Google it, you'll find it. So just to show us a bit of Power BI, let me just, this will be a good point to show. Can we see my screen, please? Let me share. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can now. Yes, we can.
Okay. So Power BI, you want Power BI, just go on to Google, download Power BI desktop. This is Power BI desktop. It stays on your computer. Before we finish today, I'll try to touch on the other Power BI. There's Power BI desktop, there's Power BI service, and there's Power BI mobile app. So Power BI Desktop is where the creators create the visualization, where the developers, the analysts, the data analyst creates the visualization. Then when you work in a company, you now have this button here, Power BI. So if I logged on with my company credentials, this one will be alive. So once I've done it here, then I publish it. That goes to now a public workspace, my company workspace, so that the other people in the company can see it. So those are the consumers of the, or the collaborators of the insight. My colleagues, I want to collaborate with me on the insight. So you create it here, you publish it to the cloud of your company. That is Power BI service. So, which is that is not free. That one has a license fee. So anybody that is going to view it will pay. But generally, the company will have a number of licenses. That they'll say we want 10 people to be able to collaborate, or 50 people, or 100 people. And then Power BI service, so you now have, from the service, you can publish it to the, what you call Power BI app. So that one is like the mass production of it, where people that don't need to collaborate, but just need to see your charts. It comes together, so you can bundle a number of charts and dashboards together, and they just publish them. So it's like, this is like a package, you put it together, you send it out. So people that have the app, they will just be able to see that. So workspace is for collaboration. This one is for you, and the app is for maybe other people in the organization that don't need that level of interaction. They just need to see what you produce and use it. So take for instance, if you work for a company that has a field salesman, people that go out for sales and marketing, and they want to say, oh, how many customers, what's the latest insight? It's there on the app. So that one can be on, there's a mobile app for that also. So Power BI apps, you can view it on the computer, you can also view it on mobile devices. Or you can't, it's limited in what you can change there. Okay, so just to show you the similarities between this and Excel, you can see the look of it is Excel. It's very much Excel. You can see the kind of toolbar here is more or less Excel. Some of the things you can do here, you can also do in Excel nowadays. So that's it, because they are the same company. So I will put this one down for a minute. Okay, so I hope that helps. So I've answered the question, please.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, all right. All right, so we'll move on swiftly. All right, so this is module 1. Like I said, cover the introduction, cover module 1. Please go to Microsoft Learn. Download Power BI on your computer if you have a computer. If you don't have a computer, find a way. If your friend has a computer or your brother, since you're not going to be doing it every day, say, can I put this on your computer? When I come around, and I use it? But start, even if you don't have a computer, start from Microsoft Learn. If you say, well, I don't have a good data plan, then take some of it offline. When you go on, just copy everything, put it in a Word document, you understand, and then save it offline. Maybe save it on your offline on your phone, so that you can begin to read those things in between. So for people like that, you are reading in between, and then when you have an opportunity, you jump on the computer, you're able to do it and download more. So that's the way it has to go. So getting started with Microsoft Data Analytics. Okay, you are going to learn about data analysis, getting started. All this is okay. So here we're looking at this. Data is the business's most strategic business asset. So as they said, I don't know if you've heard about this saying, that data is the new gold. There's a saying on the internet, data is the new gold. Data is the new oil. Data is, what has taken over from gold. It's what has taken over from oil. So data is powerful, but it's the analysis of that data that brings the value. So these are various data sources. Some companies will get data from their Facebook feed. So if a company has a business Facebook account, data is flowing in from there. Who is going on to that account? Who is liking what we're posting there? This is social engagement, engaging with their customers. They get the data from flat files. If they send out automated emails, mailed through MailChimp, they will get data. Nowadays, if they send out all these automated emails, you get reports from companies like MailChimp, who sends out the email for you, who opened that email. You can know how many people opened it. Isn't that amazing? So you send out something, on their computer, you know who opened that. Not how many people responded, how many people clicked on it to open it, you know. You have data from various systems, SAP, enterprise system, Salesforce, CRM. So these are places you get data comes in, and a company can get overwhelmed with this data. They have to say, how do we structure it? So then they might need a data architect to design the architecture. They might need a data engineer to build the pipelines. So when the data is coming automatically, it's getting transformed and stored into a data warehouse or somewhere. And then from there, you produce your analysis. This is an example of a dashboard in Power BI. So by the way, if you Google dashboard in Power BI, you'll see samples and samples and samples and samples. You see this, you see something that you say, this one doesn't look too nice. You see something that say, that one looks very nice. That is what I'm going to try and reproduce. Where is the data they used to produce this thing? Let me try my answer and see if I can produce that same quality, because whoever did this one, they paid you for it. So if I can produce the same quality, they'll pay me for it. It's like art, a work of art. So somebody does a picture of a portrait or a sculpture. I say this person is getting paid a lot of money for this stage, for any of his product. Then you can start and produce something similar. You're not plagiarizing, but say, I want to meet that quality, because if people are paying for this, they're going to pay for mine as well. It's like somebody that is making furniture. People are paying. If I can make something like that, I can also sell it. So if this is what the standard is out there, then try and make it like this. These are like big figures. So remember, executives don't have time. So if they have to now be cracking their head on what you produce, please, your job is at risk, because you are produced there. Remember that you are there to help them, like a business assistant, to help them, to make life easy for them. So you produce it so that they understand, this is how much we sold. This is how our percentage of the market share. This is the category volume. This is the sentiment, how many people, the sentiment score in terms of positive and negative sentiment from maybe feedback, So you make everything easy for them to understand. This is a dashboard. I'll talk more about what dashboards are later, but they're just like high level, you understand, high level stuff here. Okay. The bits in blue are bits sort of added. So overview of data analysis. So data analysis is telling a story with data. Please, if you don't get anything, get this one. Data analysis is telling a story with data. So there are actually three parts of a data analysis work. If you are going to do it to a good expert level, and if you are taking notes, write this down. The first bit is data mining. So data mining is that, okay, this is a big well of data, massive, 1,000 rows, 1,000,000 rows. What is inside this data? It's like if you have a big field, they say there's oil here, you begin to mine, you begin to do some exploratory holes. So data mining is not about making pretty graphs. It's about, you can do data mining in Excel. You can do data mining in Excel. So you can, it's just about dragging and dropping and see, is there any correlation between this and this? This and this? Is there any trend between this and this? So you are doing a kind of rock hacking at the data to see, what is inside this data? Data mining. Data mining is that first stage, exploratory data analysis. The second stage is data visualization. So data visualization is now where you begin to put together charts. And when you put together charts, you're putting together charts with a meaning. All this is on Google, please. When you see people, beginners, oh, they love colors. Beginners love colors. It's like, let me see how many colors I can put on this, this is my dashboard. The more the colors, the better. Do I like pink? Pink must be there. Yellow, yellow must be there. I have a red shoe. Let me put a red there. That's how you know an amateur data analyst. It will be full of color. It will be full of different type of charts. They'll say, I want to show them in this single report, this single dashboard, how many charts I have learned. So there must be pie chart, there must be bar chart, there must be a tree map, there must be a waterfall, there must be everything will be there. And that's how you know at a glance this person is an amateur. Because you see, let's talk about chart types first. Line graphs have where you use them. You can only use them in certain areas. If you are doing time series, if you are showing a trend over time, line graphs. Pie charts, you only use them when you are doing path to whole analysis. How much of this whole did this category fill in? Pie charts, generally people frown at them because the reason is because with a pie chart, it's easy to read a bar chart. So this one is taller than this, you can see. But it's not easy to see whether this green here and this green, which is the more. Because we're not very good at reading angles. We're very good at reading heights. But pie chart have, or donut charts, pie chart and donut charts, they have one area that they're particularly good for, where is the path to whole. So out of this whole, how much is this? So out of these responses of this survey, how many of them were yes? Out of these cells that we have, how many of them? So it's that kind of thing. They use very sparingly. And when you are using pie charts, you see, because the thing is that when you develop an expert eye, some of the things you begin to develop a critical eye as well. In practice, I wouldn't do this because there are too many slices to start with. When you're getting more than 3-4 slices in the maximum, you wouldn't use this. So there are things that you would not do. Even in real life, in practice, this is all over the place. The colors don't have any correlation. So the colors here should match the colors here. So when you know that this green represents this, it flows through your whole dashboard or your whole report. So that's where colors come in. Colors have meaning. Green is generally used for something that is a positive inside, excuse me. Where red is
sorry. So if you are showing something, we are not. If you are showing the diagram, we are not seeing it.
I was showing my screen though.
Yeah, you're showing the overview of data analysis, but the diagram you're not.
I'm referring to this one. This diagram,
okay.
Right here, this one.
Okay, so when you're saying green or something, so I thought we needed to see something.
Okay, no. What do I digress from this slide? So I'm using this page here. This page here, is what I'm using. So this diagram on the right of the screen. Can we see it? This one here.
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So generally, green is used for, if you're talking about money, financials, green. Green is used for positive. Red is used for negative. As it's a good practice to use a lot of grays. Anything that you don't want to focus our attention on, great. And anything that you want out of all those grays that you want to focus our attention on, you highlight it in something like blue. All this one, it also depends on the company branding, because the company has a palette. So if the logo and the palette is a particular color, sometimes you develop the dashboard in a blend of those colors. Sometimes even before you go to the company, if there has been a data analyst before you, they would have created that palette for you. So when you go to Power BI, you can form your own template to say, these are the colors I want. You select it, some colors, you put them there. So anything you are building, you want to use the colors of the company, so it goes with their branding. But in real life, that's why there's a difference between when you're learning, you learn what they're teaching. When you're out there practicing, you take it up to another level. So this is like a learning product. It's a learning product. So, but there are ways that this itself can be improved in terms of, the coloring of it. Sometimes, fancy charts like this. So what I would say is, when you're learning, learn the charts. If it's there, you're learning something, learning. But also, I'm going to put a link. I think Kelechi has a link. It's storytelling with data. Please, everyone sign up to storytelling with data. It's a website that will tell you how to tell a story with data. Because remember, we have 3 stages: data mining, data visualization. The last stage that brings the expertise out is data storytelling. So data mining, rough exploratory data analysis. Those charts, don't make them pretty. Don't format them. Just keep on dragging and dropping, nothing there, delete. Drag and drop, nothing there, delete. Use the default formatting. Then data visualization, we now need to say, okay, I'm trying to show trend over time, so I need to use a line graph. I need to use these colors because this is what I'm trying to say. Data storytelling, how do you sequence all your slides? So it's like, remember, if you're using PowerPoint, you sequence it so that you started your story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So data storytelling is that these people are very busy. These executives are very busy. You want to tell them a story of what is happening with that data. That is the data storytelling. So 3 things. I hope that helps. So data storytelling, please sign up to that website. It's free. Don't go for any of the paid products. And they do competitions every month. They do challenges. So that's a very good way to raise your profile. They will give you a bad graph and will say makeover. A graph that, a lot of people will do. And then you as the expert, you are saying, how can I use this data storytelling principles to improve this graph? And then when you finish, you submit it, and they will give you feedback. They'll say, yeah, this is what you've done. You're having a free teacher, free tutoring on how to develop your expertise. Now, there are 5 categories of data analytics. Descriptive is what happened. So descriptive is that you have the data. How many products did we sell last month? That's descriptive analytics. Who is our biggest, what is our top 3 customers? Descriptive analytics. How many new customers did we gain last month? Descriptive analytics. Diagnostic analytics is why it happened. So you are now investigating to say, so these are different categories. So you do descriptive, and then you go a step further, you're now trying to do diagnostic. So what is the reason why our sales figure suddenly plummeted by 30%? What is the reason? This is very important. You are presenting to executives, you are giving them facts. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Then they're asking in their mind, so what? Young man, young woman, what else are you going to tell us about this? In fact, sometimes they even know that information before you got to them. But when you're able to investigate the data to say, this is why it happened. The number of people, there was an event that happened, a new store came out, or this thing coincided with this thing. So diagnostic is very, very important. Or even drilling deeper into the structure to say, out of what we lost, we discovered that this is the common feature between all those customers that left, all those customers that came. We discovered that, maybe, under diagnostic, 50% of our customers are between the ages of 17 and 25, diagnostic, why? Why? Oh, because the products we do are fashion products, So diagnostic is why it happens. Sometimes you are able to, sometimes you are not able to. But when you are able to and you don't, then that means a senior person is going to come in and have to do it. And if you want to get to the job of that senior person, begin to understudy and say, when I present this report to my boss, it still takes it just a little bit of that little bit is due on top. If I do, I'll be able to apply for this job when it's moving on. So predictive is what will happen. Based on what has happened, what is the trend showing? So we can see that line, the trend, where is it going? This is what we're predicting in future. And in Power BI, you can do forecast. So basically, if you have, even in Excel, if you don't have, even in Excel, you can do, so basically, if you have a line graph, even in Excel, if you have a line graph, you can, I think there's a forecast something, I'm not sure, but definitely in Power BI, you can say, it doesn't even have to be a straight line. If it's a straight line, it's easy. You just put ruler and draw it up. But if there's seasonality, it's up and down, up and down, up and down. Power BI will be able to say, this is the seasonality. This is the pattern of it. And you can say, project it into the future. It will now project that line into the future. So you can say, by this time next year, this is what we predict that our sales for the month is going to be. Prescriptive is how to respond. So based on all this, what has happened, what will happen, what to do. So you are getting into some real advice here. And then cognitive is what if. So based on what has happened, what if we increase our prices by 10%? That's scenario. What if it was 5%? This is the way it's going to play out. What if this? That's cognitive. So there's something here that's biblical. You have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Knowledge is the facts. That's knowledge. Understanding is what are these facts telling us? Wisdom, what do we do? It's all here. So, and when you are doing your analysis, when you start off, you start with a lot of knowledge. This is, the top three, this is this knowledge. Then try and always add a layer of understanding onto it. This means that based on this is showing that, and then the wisdom there is what do we do? So you look at Joseph, for instance, before Pharaoh. Pharaoh called his half dream, I don't even know. And the man came, gave him knowledge. This is what it was. This is a dream. This is interpretation of the dream. And then this is what we need to do. So dream is saying, this is a dream. The interpretation is that those cows you saw, 7 fat cows, 17 cows, they are 7 good years of harvest, 7 years of famine followed. If you are left like that, Pharaoh have said, well done, now I have what to do. Now go and call my advisor, what do we do? No, the young man said, stop there. They didn't even commission him to do that one, but he went ahead, he said, based on this, what our advice Pharaoh is that during those 7 good years, appoint somebody, one of your officers, let them store all these things together. So that when there's famine, then we can be able to sell those things. And the man said, are you looking for a job? Immediately. The man is a prisoner. The young boy was a prisoner, came straight from prison. He said, please, we don't care about all that one. So here is job. Without interview, without CV, without anything, the young man got a job. Just because of his ability to convert knowledge to understanding to wisdom. That is wisdom for us also. And how does it come? It comes through practice. You begin to practice how to derive knowledge, how to show what has happened. You begin to practice, how to drill down into it. And when you practice, then you get feedback. And when you get feedback, then you improve. And then you get some domain expertise, you begin to be able to even become the advisor of Pharaoh in these things. Okay, so a few things here. So let me run through this. So roles in data analysis, roles in data. So let me just run through them based on what my understanding. So when you look at, so there's a business analyst. I started putting some notes here, but there were two. It's going to go after the slide. Anyway. They have time to finish. So business analyst, data engineer, data scientist, database administrator. And these are the qualifications that get there. Microsoft doesn't have a qualification for business analyst, but when you're a data analyst, you can be a business analyst. I'm a qualified data analyst and I work as a business analyst. So what is the difference between this? So a business analyst works very close to the business. So in some companies I have business analysts and data analysts. Sometimes they're together. Sometimes a business analyst does the work of the two together. Sometimes the data analyst does the work of the two together. But if you think about it, you have the business, where is the business arms like sales and marketing, production, and all those ones, all those arms. Then you might have some other arms in the business, like the developer arm, the reporting arm, and so on. So the business analyst is very close to the business arm of it. He understands what the requirements are. So sales and marketing need a new dashboard that will do this. They need information that is very close to the heart of the business. So where he's working with the data analyst is that it could be that the business analyst gathers the requirements and brings it to the data analyst and say, now produce something with it. Sometimes the data, if it's to do with surveys, it might come from the business analyst to the data. It varies from company to company, by the way. Sometimes things flow from the data analyst to the business analyst also, where the data analyst in a company, the data analyst will be the one to gather the data first, do some analysis, hand it over to the business analyst that will now analyze and now apply it to the business. The data analyst, as we know, does a lot of number crunching, does his data mining, data visualization, data storytelling. Now, the data engineer, you're beginning to say, okay, if the company has data from various sources, they have data flowing from their Facebook page, have data flowing from, their sales, from the website, they have data from all over the place. Customer reviews, customer returns, and so on. Now, the data, and how are you going to get that data into a place where the data analyst can use it? So all the data is flowing from various places. For some companies, they're flowing from different parts of the world. And remember, data is gold, data is oil. This is not so that the data arrives, you keep it, and maybe about 3 months after, you now say, now we've got all the data, now let's analyze it. The world has moved on. The data you now have is old data. So that data needs to be grabbed as quickly as possible in real time. And many times the companies, they want it in real time. So the data is, as it's being generated, it's being collected, it's being automatically transformed, and it's being loaded into a repository. So the data engineer, they manage and secure the flows. They do what you call ETL, extract the data from the various sources and transform the data and then load it into a data warehouse or a data lake. And most of the time, they build pipelines to do that automatically, data pipelines. So the data is coming, there's a pipeline, which is a software pipeline, by the way, that I say, okay, any data coming from Germany, the currency is going to be in euro. So do the automatic transformation into dollars. We want everything in our warehouse to be in dollars. So it's comparable. Anything coming from Nigeria is in Naira. So in the pipeline, do an automatic transformation, convert it into this one. Any data coming from this country is going to be, the time in this country is going to be 2 hours behind the time in this country. So convert everything into GMT, put it there. And it's in this data warehouse or data lake. Now, the difference is that a data warehouse uses ETL, extract, transform, load. Extract the data, transform it, put it in the form that it needs to go and load it into the warehouse. Nowadays, they're doing data lakes, which is extract, load, transform. So take all the data, don't even transform it, just dump it in the data lake. When people need it, the software is so faster, it can do those transformations at the point when they are drawing out the data. Now, the data scientist is linked to a data analyst. You can serve as a data analyst and then become a data scientist, or you can go straight to a data scientist. They also have a learning part on Microsoft Learn as well, which is this qualification. The data scientist goes further. So the data scientist does a lot of that predictive analysis. So the data scientist will work with things like Python. So for Adekule, data will work with things like Python. It could be R. They get into a lot of machine learning, the data scientist. So take that data and make some intelligent decisions automatically with that data. Show us what it is. Take, for instance, machine learning, which is another interesting area linked into data science and artificial intelligence. For instance, how many of us buy things online, like Amazon? You go into Amazon, you buy something, after a while, Amazon is recommending to you. That's a recommendation engine, part of machine learning. There's nobody sitting behind analyzing and say, oh, this customer, one of 10 million customers, when he comes in, begin to show him shoes in his own size. It's all the machine learning software that is now intelligent enough to say, he bought this, he bought this, he bought this, and then do all those predictions and then say which 5 products ought we to recommend to. So there's all different areas of data science, and all of it is on YouTube. There's a lot of YouTube you can learn. With these areas, to be honest, like I was saying when I answered Adekule, it's very easy to get overwhelmed to say, oh, should I be a data analyst or should I be a data engineer? Start off with one, because they're all linked together. Start off with one, try and develop expertise in it, add on the other one. You might find out you like the other one better. But if you are like a shop, there's a difference between a store and a supermarket. Somebody comes in and you can offer them 10 different types of bread. And you also sell butter. And you also sell Fanta. The person will buy much from you. If you are like that store, you can do a lot of things. You say, by the way, I can do data engineering, I can do data analysis, I can do data science, I can do this. You are in control, because if jobs come for data analysis, you jump on it. If jobs come for this one, you jump on it. And that's why when you go on to somewhere like Upwork, when you're advertising your things, jobs is coming. You see a lot of jobs are coming in this area now. Because you want bread and butter, you quickly grab that one. And so you understand. So, and if many jobs are coming, then you say, actually, I prefer data science jobs. So you begin to decline jobs. It's better you're in a position where you are declining jobs than your position where you can only offer one thing and then you are waiting. So, but don't be overwhelmed that I need to be all this master of all. Be a master of one and say, I'm a data engineer that knows a bit about data analysis. So if more jobs are coming in this area, then I know enough of this to be able to do some of them. So that is it. So you don't need everything. Database administrator, well, this data warehouse, and we're talking about data lake, some companies have database administrators that manage them so that not everyone can go in there and begin to corrupt their data. So you go to database administrator, can you give me a report on this, this, and this? So that
which year did that boy? Why would go back?
Okay, so some companies have database administrators. Okay, so task of a data analyst: clean the data, that's prepared. Remember, these are the 5 areas that are going to be covered in the certification exam. So prepare, clean the data. Model is put the data in tables and create relationship between those tables. Visualize, create your visuals, pie chart, bar chart, whatever. Analyze is get some insights from the data, and then manage is about manage is how do you control all this. So you're talking about security, role level relationships, so you can create one report in Power BI, and you can say anyone from the South region will only be able to see, when they go on, they're only able to see the rows of that data that apply to them. So it's all those permissions. Also, manage is also about when you publish it to Power BI service, how often do you want it to refresh? Remember that you can make it automatic refresh. In my office, for instance, some of the dashboards we build, we set them to refresh 6 a.m. every morning. So 6 a.m. it goes and grabs all the new data and it automatically refreshes itself. Some you can even make to refresh a number of times a day, more than once a day, depending on how you schedule it. So that's to do with manage. I'm looking at time, and these are the references. So again, I'll grab this and put it in the chat, and then we'll go for some questions. Kelechi still has to share his, he still has to share his story with us, tell us a bit about what he's doing, show us a bit about what's available on Upwork. Why is, okay. Sorry, I'm not saying it to Kelechi. Okay, yeah. Okay, so that's me done. So please, it's time for questions now. Do you have any questions in the chat, Kelechi?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, so there's a question from one of the people here with me, and it's about the key requirements for becoming a data analyst. I imagine that a lot of what you've shared is still maybe a bit technical for some of those that have joined in. So what would be like the primary level breakdown of all of these things for people to get like running with the data analysis stuff?
Okay. The key requirements of a data analyst, if you are going to get started from fresh, then you might get started on Excel. There's no point being good on Power BI if you don't know basic Excel. So I would say, get started on Excel. You can Google like practical projects in Excel. In fact, if you go onto YouTube, there's a number of good channels on YouTube that you can use to learn Excel. Now, it depends on the type of person you are. If you're a person that you can discipline yourself, because there's a lot of these videos. Sometimes you might have a channel that has a range of short videos. And so if you are able to structure yourself, it's about saying, oh, I want to learn this. You just become curious. One of the key requirements is you have to be very curious. It doesn't even depend on what you know. It's your curiosity to learn what you do not know. So it's like saying, oh, how do I do this in Excel? How do I do that in Excel? So you can get, like I've said, you can get free data online. Sometimes it's the data you already have. So as students, maybe you already have some data related to this or that. You can do that. You can get free data sets online. So it's that, because for me, learning a skill like this, you won't know everything. But what will help you to know it is that for instance, when I have a challenge, I want to know, like, is it possible to do this? I'll go onto the internet. Is it possible to do this? The internet will tell me how to do it. I've learned that skill. So getting started, I would say, have some data curiosity. Have some curiosity that you want to know, what is this data saying? As a start, I put something in the chat earlier on. It's a fictional data set for a big store that they use for data analysis training, a lot of it, a global superstore. Download it. I mean, what is this data saying? So this is data. This is just facts and facts and facts. What intelligence can I get from this? So, and you start off, what is the total sum? So one good way data, if you want to become a business intelligence analyst, which is the end result, because you can start off as a data, I keep on telling people, end up, even if your company says we want a data analyst, convert that role into business analyst. How do you do it? And it's what I've done before. I was employed as a business data analyst. Before I left there, I converted that role into business intelligence analyst. And when I was leaving, when they were going to advertise my replacement, they now said, what we actually need, what we found out we need, is a business intelligence analyst. So business intelligence is like, you can start off with questions. You might not even know the answers. Okay. You begin to think like a business. Okay, if I was a business, if this was my business, with that data set I posted, what would I like to know? Well, if I was the CEO, I would like to know how much have we sold? How much? What is the volume? What is the sales? Is it more this year than last year? You see, you are beginning to think like which material, which product are we selling more of? Top three in terms of increase. Which product is going down that we need to kind of phase out? Where are our customers coming from? Are they based in the UK? Are they based in the US? If they're based in the US, which state are they from? And so on. So you can start with one slide and then put down, put down a number of questions there. And you are now a data detective. You're trying to say, can I find answers to these things through my analysis? That's a good place to start. Now, in terms of tools, you'll say, I've got Excel. So let me start. I'm already familiar with Excel. Let me start. Because if I do Power BI, I'm trying to learn Power BI at the same time as trying to do the. So you start with Excel. When you get stuck on Excel, you now say, okay, let me go to Power BI. The other thing you can do is that you can say, if you're already good on Excel, and you can do it, some of the things you can do on Excel, try now, give yourself the challenge. I want to replicate this in Power BI. That's how you do it. So this thing that I can do in Excel, I know how to do this in Excel, but now I want to be able to do it in Power BI. So that's how you that will be a good starting point for you. I don't overcomplicate things. Don't be realistic in everything. Don't say, oh, I give myself 1 month to be this, and then I'm expert. No, it will not happen. But start off with data curiosity, become a data detective, love data. There's data is already there online. Just Google it. Become curious. What is the situation with COVID around the world? What is the situation with which of the COVID variants had the highest fertility rate? What is the fertility rate in Africa compared to last decade? Are we going? All these are available. If you go to World Health Organization, you might get all this information. And then once you get the data set, do your data mining, do your data visualization, do your data storytelling, and make it visible. Have a portfolio. Now, I would like to touch on LinkedIn branding. LinkedIn branding means you go into LinkedIn and you begin to rebrand yourself. LinkedIn is not Facebook, please. All of you students, all of you NYC, all of you young people affected by ASUU, it's not Facebook. It's not TikTok. It's not a social platform. That's where your career platform. You rebrand yourself. How do you rebrand yourself? Rebrand yourself as a data analyst enthusiast. I'm just enthusiastic about data analysis. All things data. You put your time. I love all things data. People that love all things data, they begin to connect with you. Then you begin to join some groups there. You begin to follow some organizations there. You should follow Google. You should follow Microsoft. Microsoft is now in Lagos. You follow some of these things. They post something. You reflect and you say, fantastic, approaching you, or you'll be approaching them. Please, can I be your advocate in my university campus? You don't have to know it all. The little Excel you know, become an advocate of that Excel. And become like the Excel champion in your university. Not that you are the expert, you are the champion. They want to say, yeah, Excel, everybody Excel. Akron will say, this person is like a marketing, free advertisement, free marketing. Look at his feed. Look at the way he's going around, talking to people, hey, I love Excel. Even his t-shirts, he's changed them to I love Excel. Before you know it, you get the interest. So these are just some of the ways that we can get involved. There are competitions on LinkedIn that Kelechi will put in the chat. Marvel Analytics, Onyx, Some other things are going. Storytelling with data, as I've said earlier. So these are things that, you go to the competition, don't be afraid, and what if I lose? Of course you will lose, because these people have been doing like 1 year before you. But these are people in Pakistan, young people like in Pakistan, in Spain, already you're becoming international. You're coming from this person sitting at home being frustrated by us, you're becoming international. You go to that competition groups, like all this competition group, your eyes open, you see what other people are posting. Hey, this person is a student like me in Pakistan. See what he posted from the same Excel. Then you now go to Excel. How do I do this? How do I make my access fine? How do I? You learn. So month by month, what you find out is you'll be improving. You are already there. You are visible. You are developing this international network behind you. When you are joining them as friends on Facebook, you will see that this person did this course on Udemy. The other person will post about a video on YouTube. You quickly go and see those videos. You're becoming informed. You're becoming informed. You see this person, or this person is also on Upwork. If this person is doing this on Upwork, me too, I can go on Upwork as well. So that's the way you come out of this, your pigeonhole, wherever you are, during the ASUU strike, and then you develop wings that you fly.